Hi, and welcome to the Kelley Kitley podcast, America's Social Worker Unfiltered, where every week I have hopeful, honest, and deeply human conversations with changemakers. And today I am fangirling over Dr. Desiree Bartlett, who is a leading women's health expert. She's internationally published author and creator of the BodyMind Workout, which incorporates yoga, fitness, and meditation. She's been in the field for 30 years, and she was named number one of the top 10 MSN's Health Voices, helping people feel better. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I am so grateful that you said yes to being on the podcast today. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to connect with you, and I don't think I've seen you in like 20 years. And it's so much fun to catch up and see how we're both so dedicated to our path and what we've created.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's important for listeners to hear too. The name of my practice is called Serendipitous Psychotherapy. And the reason for that is because I do believe that we are all connected in some way. And I am often finding things that I didn't expect come into my life. And that's been a very spiritual practice for me. And this is just an example of that. I do want to tell people, Desiree is from Chicago. And when Ryan and I moved to Santa Monica right after we got married, we didn't have any jobs. And there was an Equinox that had just opened. And somebody from Chicago had mentioned, because I had taught spinning classes, that I should connect with you because what was the title that your job was at Equinox at that time?
I was the group fitness director, so I hired all the instructors.
And you have such a long history even before that, as we were talking before recording, that I didn't know either, that you put yourself through college at UIC by working at East Bank.
Yeah. So I have my degree in kinesiology and I have my master's in corporate fitness. And because it was in Chicago, I had in-state tuition, but I didn't want to be left with a lot of college debt.
Mhm,
And my stepfather was really wise and he sort of guided me. He's like, okay, no credit cards, get a job.
mhm.
And I did. And one of my very first jobs was at East Bank Club in Chicago. I was a personal trainer and a Group X instructor. And when I look back now, the people that they trusted me with as clients, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was just a baby. I trained Mr. Levin, may he rest in peace. He was the owner of East Bank
Yes,
Club. I
yes.
had Maria Pappas, an alderman. I had Marilyn Katz, who was Mayor Daley's publicist. Just amazing people.
Yeah, and Oprah loved working out at East Bank back in the day.
I used to see Oprah and Trainer Bob at like 6 a.m. on the step mills.
Uh-huh. And I've run into Stedman Graham there a few times. I mean, I love it because it's a one-stop shop. I go there on Mondays as my self-care day when the kids are at school and I don't see clients and
Mhm.
smoothies, steam room, sauna, exercise. It is just a great place. And fast forward to having connections that were similar from our time in Chicago. And then I came knocking on your door begging for a job to teach spin classes at Equinox. And I think my husband worked at the front desk.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he didn't last very long, but that was a place that really helped us find some community and get connected in Santa Monica. So thank you for that.
Of course, there was a tremendous network there, but I remember you very clearly, your big smile, your incredible resume. And as soon as you said Chicago, I'm like, yes.
And those 6 a.m. classes. I love an early morning workout. And then following you, I got pregnant about a year after we moved there and was still doing spin classes, but really wanted to tap into prenatal yoga and postnatal yoga. And you were teaching a lot of those classes in
Mm.
Venice. Um, and you just I desired and wanted something you had. You have such a calm presence. You really practice this mind, body, soul connection. And it was something that I really needed at that time. I was struggling with postpartum depression and anxiety. And I literally walked in the room. And of course, you don't remember this because I never told you, but it was just such a transformative experience for me to have you hold space in a time that I was struggling as a new mom. And now, as we're in middle age, I think that that's really changed over the course of the people we interact with. I know that you still work with a lot of new moms and have the total body beautiful, your strong, sexy pregnancy as resources for people. But um, what is it now that I think you can speak to in terms of how we take care of our whole body in middle age? Because I think we're hearing a lot of different information, and we are flooded with so much information about what is good and what is sustainable. And I just want to give you an opportunity to educate us on what you practice and what you think are the core components of living a holistic life.
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that part of your story with me. It is my honor and my joy to hold space for women. I'm very passionate about helping women through life's different transitions. And I feel like there are these windows of time that can be sort of tender and vulnerable. And whether that's fertility, pregnancy, new motherhood, perimenopause, or beyond, we have these transition points when we need tools.
Mm.
And so in perimenopause and middle age, what I'm finding with women is that there's almost an overabundance of information, especially if you go onto Google, and
Mhm.
it's really confusing. Am I supposed to be on a GLP-1? Am I supposed to be doing HIIT workouts? Am I supposed to be having, 200 grams of protein? Like it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
And so what I've developed in the Body Mind Workout is really this like 3+1 structure. So we have fitness, yoga, nutrition, and then the plus one is meditation.
Mm.
My mother was a hippie, and I grew up going to the Temple of Kriya Yoga in Chicago. And so meditation was gifted to me as a beautiful tool at the age of 6. And so, yeah, I've had
Oh, wow.
meditation and mantra in my life, my entire life as a best friend, essentially. And I don't always share this part of my story, but because of what you do,
Mhm.
I will share. I left home at 16. And so I needed tools, and meditation has always been there for me. So when I hear that I held space for someone else, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You have no idea how much work it took to get there, to be present. But because I now have this system with pillars, it's clear and you can follow it like one step at a time, and it doesn't have to be so confusing.
Oh my gosh, I'm teary-eyed. I didn't know that part of your story.
Mhm.
And I think that, when somebody's been through the trenches and comes through the other side, it's that even that much more powerful, because you are living a living example and you've put your work into practice to be who you are today and to teach other people to do that. So, can you speak about meditation specifically for a moment? Because I think sometimes, even though we've made a huge shift in the world in terms of self-care and spiritual practice and meditation, oftentimes, especially when I'm working with highly anxious clients, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't meditate, I can't shut my brain off, I'm too busy, how am I going to handle being a mom and working and meditating? um it can be 3 minutes, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. I was going to say it's absolutely quality over quantity. And if I tell someone you're going to sit and close your eyes and sit still for an hour, that stresses me out. That's way too much. So you'll hear very often in the Eastern practices that people refer to the mind as a monkey mind,
Mhm.
jumping from one thought to the next. And I had a wonderful teacher many years ago who said, give the monkey a banana, give it something to chew on. And so that's where different tools like mantra come in. And when I say mantra, people are like, oh, is she going to say like Om over and over and over? No, not if it's something that doesn't resonate with you, if you don't understand that word or what the feeling is. No, I'm going to ask you, what is it that you want to embody today? Is it joy? Is it peace? Is it clarity? Let's allow that word to spin over and over through the wheels of your mind for 60 seconds. Close your eyes, center yourself, breathe deeply, and let that word start to circulate and notice what comes up. How does it feel in your body? Where do you feel it in your body? Are there any images of what this looks like when it comes into manifestation? And then we can come back. So it can be that easy. It's just identifying what is the feeling that we want to embody. How are we feeling now? And how do we bridge the delta between?
Oh my gosh, I just practiced that and closed my eyes as you were talking, and I felt an internal shift in my chest.
Mm.
And how long did that take? Right? It's about being like mindful and intentional and being able to pick up these tools whenever we need it, not in carved out time, which is something what I think people struggle with. I mean, my speaking even slowed down, I'm noticing. Um, with exercise, right? Like, and this all or nothing thinking, like, if I don't get to a 45-minute workout class, then I've done nothing today or I failed. And being able to teach people different language around that too. Like, how can you move your body today? You're in Hawaii, which is a little different than, than Chicago. It's a little easier to walk outside or have gratitude by looking at the water or being out in nature. We have to work a little harder here in the Midwest and a lot of listeners on the East Coast. Um, what do you say to that? Like, how can people be mindful of moving their body without feeling like they have to follow a certain formula every day?
So let me go back to meditation for just a moment. That's something that I begin each day with. And before I allow the outside world and Google and Instagram and Facebook and all of the things to tell me
Yeah.
what I'm supposed to be thinking or scared of, I
Hmm.
go inward. And then I allow that to carry my thoughts through the day. That includes going to the gym. Now, when I lived in Chicago and I had to get up at 5 a.m. to go teach at East Bank at the crack of dawn and it was dark and it was freezing,
Hmm.
I still had this practice. This practice has been with me my entire life. And when I go into the gym, I personally love the feeling of strength from the inside out.
Hmm.
If I can do two more reps, then guess what? Any business meeting that I'm in, any situation that's challenging, I got it because I trust myself to complete it and to keep going. So there's sort of this relationship, I believe, that when physical strength is improved, mental strength is improved as well because we begin to trust our bodies, our minds, and the interconnection of the two.
Mm. I'm like dumbfounded. You say this is like brushing your teeth. Like in terms of incorporating it into your day-to-day daily living skills is what we call them in the mental health world, you know, that it's just you're intentional about it.
Very much so. And when I work with clients, I want them to have fun too.
Yeah.
I don't want this to be a chore. Movement should not be a chore. So
Hmm.
let's put on some fun music, let's chit chat, let's do all the things. But
Hmm.
again, what is the feeling that you want to embody? How can I help you go from here to here?
Okay. So you use strength in your own practice and teaching that as well as breath work, yoga. Like I've seen the way you can move your body. And My sisters are both in the fitness industry, and they are really focused on lifting heavy. And that's a great tool. Um, I don't love that, but I'll go to their classes to support them, and I do feel stronger. But
Mhm.
um, I do like incorporating a lot of different things in one workout, right? So if I have 45 minutes, I do want to stretch and breathe and get my heart rate up. Is there something that you love to do?
So that's why I developed my system, BodyMind Workout, so that you have a few minutes of meditation to really identify what is the feeling you want to embody. And then we move on to strength, and we're going to get you going, and then move on to yoga and bring it all back and down and find that flexibility. So we have everything all in one workout. But in terms of strength training, because you were asking earlier about midlife,
Hmm.
it's important, right? It's important that we have some resistance training to maintain the strength of our musculoskeletal system. As we get older,
Hmm.
we are at risk for things like sarcopenia, which is the degradation of the muscle tissue, as well as osteopenia, which is the same for the bones.
Hmm.
So I want my ladies and my gentlemen, of course, to be strong. And if God forbid there's a fall, it's not a big deal. You can roll out of it and you've got it because you have the muscle mass to protect the joint.
Okay. So, and how much time is dedicated in these workouts to each? I don't know what the language that you would use to call it. You do the meditation, the strength, and the yoga. What's How much time is dedicated to each?
It's really easy. It's like 7, 7, 7,
Oh,
7 minutes of each. I get you in, I get you out if you're working with me online. If you're working with me privately, I'll extend that, of course. But if
okay.
you only have like 21 minutes, I got you. Because I know that not everyone has an hour to dedicate to exercise every day. And again, because it can be so confusing. I'm supposed to lift, I'm supposed to do cardio, I'm supposed to meditate, I'm
Sure.
supposed to, have all these grams of protein. What do I do? I talk about nutrition within the scope of the workout so that you have all of the tools that you need for the day.
Oh my gosh. So you are still seeing private clients.
A handful,
Okay.
yes, just a couple.
And then you have a larger reach with your books and your workouts, and you also co-authored a book that's coming out soon.
Yes, so I've been a member of IDEA Health and Fitness for over 20 years, and they are this incredible association within the fitness industry that's always, in my opinion, on the cutting edge.
Hmm.
And I was honored with the award for Fitness Leader of the Year last year.
Hmm.
And I was invited to be a co-author in this new book, Inspire the World to Fitness, which will be coming out real soon here. And it was such a pleasure. I can tell you a little bit about my chapter. I wrote about women's health and specifically about what it looks like with intergenerational health. We hear a lot about intergenerational trauma or
Yes.
generational trauma,
Mhm.
but I find it really inspiring as well to hear about generational health.
And what was your influence? I know you said your mom was a hippie and taught you how to
Yeah.
meditate at a young age, and I know you have a 12 and a 17-year-old as well. So I'd be curious to know how that has been part of your practice at this age and stage in your life.
So, because I left home at 16, I didn't necessarily have a real strong role model.
Hmm.
I'll share this with you because I think it's pertinent to this conversation and what you do for a living. My mother fell into substance abuse,
Hmm.
and so that was why I left home. And what I found in each of these different stages of my life, whether I was getting pregnant or having a baby or moving into perimenopause, was oh my gosh, I need some tools, right? And so I did have this beautiful gift of meditation that she left with me, and I honor that. And I never want to say that I never want to judge her. She had her own path,
Hmm.
and there was some good in there that she left me with. But
Hmm.
it's up to me to then heal what I need to heal and to take the time to educate myself so that I have the tools to move through each of these different windows of vulnerability. And then it is my honor and my joy to take all of these tools and offer them to others and say, like, I went down this rabbit hole. I went
Mhm.
back to school, and my doctoral dissertation was about how to mitigate menopausal symptoms with yoga. I'm a complete science nerd. And if my nerdiness and education can help another woman navigate this time,
Mhm.
it's all worth it.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, again, another serendipitous component is a mom and woman who has been sober for almost 13 years. And I can only imagine some of the things that you endured, having experienced that. Addiction runs rampant in my family, and so breaking generational trauma and the language that you used about generational health too. What do your boys do in terms of moving their body? Do they meditate? Do they do yoga? Do they surf?
So, both of my babies experienced yoga in my belly. I
Yeah.
practiced a lot of yoga and sang to my belly. And they both were really into it for the first few years of their life. And then they both went on to do their own things. My little guy is really into basketball, surfing, and fishing.
Uh-huh.
And then my older son is all about baseball, wrestling, and also loves to surf.
Wow. So still very sports minded, mind body connection as well in the
Yeah.
things that they enjoy.
For sure, I think surfing has a sort of a spiritual component to it. You know, you're communing with Mother Nature and with the ocean and feeling the rhythm of the ocean. So if that's what they're doing instead of, sitting in lotus pose, all good. I want them to express their love for movement in the way that feels most authentic to them.
And what about your husband? Is he on this health journey with you?
He's so healthy. Oh my goodness gracious. So he's more into like weight training,
Hmm.
but also being a great dad. So if my kids need to go like practice basketball or baseball or whatever, he's the one at the park who's interactive and playing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Whereas
again,
me, like you throw a basketball at me and I'm like, ah, it's gonna hit me in the face.
w- I was asking you this before we pressed record, but you have such um, a history of the work that you've done, over 30 years of experience. And I asked you, what is on your bucket list? Can you, and I guess in conjunction with that, what do you do to practice that vision or that goal of something that you want to accomplish? I mean, you didn't have the title doctor in front of your name when I first met you, and I can only imagine what that journey was like. I mean, you're constantly growing and progressing, and it's a lifelong journey. And so, what are your tools to reach goals and to visualize?
So It it's my goal to have something available, to have tools available for women at every stage and also at every, sorry, there's no other way to say this, at every price point.
Okay.
So if you need it for free, I'm on YouTube. If you want a book, I got you with books. If you want to do videos, I've got my own platform. I'm on other people's platforms. If it's available to you financially and you want to work together one-on-one, cool. You want to come on an international retreat with me?
Mhm.
Come on, let's go.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
want to have all of these different opportunities that are feasible for each woman's life.
Wow. I love
Now, beyond that, because I'm so passionate about women's health, I also want to have a product line.
it.
And
Mhm.
I've developed product lines for other talents before.
Mhm.
When I left Equinox, I worked for Gaiam, and that was the year that was Gaiam had just acquired Good Times Media. So I had the pleasure of creating products for people like Billy Blanks and The Biggest Loser and The Firm and like all of these amazing different fitness lines.
Mhm.
But now, fast forward 20 years later, it's time for me to do it for me.
Sure.
And so that's really the vision. I want to provide tools, physical tools for women that they can use in their homes so that I take all the guesswork out of it.
Wow. I love that trajectory of who you can impact, no matter what financial situation they're in, right? Because I think sometimes resources are limited based on what somebody can afford, and you're laying everything out there, and people, based on where they're at, can choose how to be inspired by you or to work more closely with you. And I know that you're not shy about saying your age either.
Oh yeah, no, I'm 54. I graduated high school in 1989.
Uh-huh. And you look amazing, and I know
Thank
you
you.
feel amazing. Um, how long do you want to live till? It's such a direct, random question, but I'm always curious. My dad recently passed, so I've been very curious about death and planning your own death,
Yeah.
and so I'm curious, like, do you want to be 90 years old? Do you want to, I don't know. What do you
So
think about?
what I learned in school is, there's something to be said for quality of life, right?
Thank you.
And so it all depends on my quality of life. If I can be 100 and feel as good as I do now, or even half as good as I do now, I'm in.
Yeah.
But if someone else has to take care of me, then maybe I wouldn't want to have as long of a life. I'm extremely independent and I want to go and do all the things that I want to do and take care of grandbabies eventually.
Hmm.
So as long as I feel good.
Oh, okay. So it's not a number, it's quality of life. Sure.
How about you?
my husband my husband jokes that I sometimes I say, like, if I died today, I'd kind of be okay with it. I feel like I've lived such a full life. I know that sounds so morbid, and I have four teenage children, so they would die to hear me say that, pun intended, I guess. But I do. I feel like I have so much gratitude for everything in my life, and of course, there's so much more to experience, but I also feel like I have zero regrets, and I have um, lived a really full life. And hopefully I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, but I am curious about what's on the other side. And as we were talking about some of our former years in education, I went to 12 years of Catholic school, and I never really identified as religious in terms of a practice or identity, but I always felt a sense of connection with something bigger than myself. And so
Hmm.
there's a curiosity there. Um, how about you in terms of religion or spirituality? What do you identify with,
Oh
or
gosh. What don't I identify with? My mother was Jewish, my father was Catholic. They were hippies that studied Buddhism together. And
oh my gosh.
yes, yes. When I lived in Santa Monica or in that area, I would go to SRF, Self-Realization Fellowship in the Palisades.
Mm.
And when you walk into services there, the first thing that we do is bow to saints of all religions, because in my opinion, truth is truth.
Mm-hmm. Which means what?
Which means that there are universal experiences that we all have. And whether you wrap it up in this costume or that costume, it doesn't really matter because we all want to, in my opinion, find peace.
Mm-hmm. And there are many channels to get there, right? There is not one specific way or one person's way that is right. I think that you're absolutely right. I align with you on that. That it's so important to find that, and I believe we all have it within. It's just having a willingness to be open to receiving it and to engaging in some kind of practice or ritual.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's wonderful people in clergy in so many different expressions of religion. You know, I went to Ignatius and I didn't expect Father Kirk, like an older Irish priest, to be my pal, and he was such a wonderful force in my life.
Oh, Same. I had a Catholic nun that used to teach at my school who's 80 years old and a transgender rights activist. Like, just amazing people. And I think when we do this work, and which is why I wanted to do the podcast, is there are so many amazing people who have so much to offer, and allowing people to tap into that as much as they want to without it being forced on anybody, I think can be life changing. Um,
Absolutely.
and so I guess one of my questions to you is, with some of these retreats that you offer, because that has been really transformative in my sobriety and my recovery journey, is connecting with like-minded people and taking a pause and checking out of day-to-day life. What's on deck this year? Where can people sign up? What do you have lined up? I want to come.
Yay!
Do you have anything on the books for 2026?
I do. There's one spot left in the Cabo retreat. We leave in 2 weeks.
Oh my
Uh,
God. Okay.
Yes, we will be in Cabo San Lucas at Gran Velas, and I will be offering the Body Mind Workout. And then I've partnered with a wonderful naturopath who is doing everyone's blood work. So it's mostly midlife women on this retreat. And if you want to understand your hormonal panel and what kind of exercise can help feed your body during this time, as well as connect with other like-minded women in this beautiful I would say spiritual place. I lived in Cabo. So, long story, let me make it real short.
Yeah.
After I left Chicago, I lived in Cabo San Lucas for 5 years, and then I moved to LA, which is when I met you.
Oh, okay. What were you
Yeah.
doing in Cabo?
So I'm half Mexican, but I grew up with my mom, not my dad, and I didn't learn how to speak Spanish. Entonces me fui a Mexico. So I went to Mexico because I wanted to learn how to speak Spanish. I'm like, okay, it's time. And what I found there, it's very much like Hawaii. It's this feeling of like the land is alive and supporting you and you can commune with it. And I know I'm sounding really hippy dippy, but if you're in it, you can feel it.
Oh my gosh. So are you fluent in Spanish now too?
Mhm.
Girl.
Claro que sí.
Wow. Okay, so Cabo in 2 weeks for anybody listening. Grab that spot before it's taken. And anything else on the
Yeah,
horizon?
so I'm in the planning phases right
Okay.
now. Just check out my website, desibartlett.com, and I'll have more dates later this year. I'm trying to figure out, I honestly think, Kelley, what I need to do is do something here in Hawaii.
You
It's so
do.
beautiful.
Yeah. And you're in Oahu, is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
There is such healing power in nature. As I see that plant behind you too, it's just to touch the ground, like you said, and to feel just being outside is so awakening. So I, I can't believe you lived that life. Just, and that was a conscious choice, right? You curated this life to move there and to live there, and to have this experience for your kids.
Yeah, I wanted my husband and I both wanted our children to live somewhere where they could go to the corner store and it wouldn't be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, where we lived in LA, things were getting a little bit rough.
Mm-hmm.
And so in Hawaii, there's, in my opinion, such a beautiful reverence for community and everyone's uncle and auntie. If you're an older adult, even 5 years older than a teenager, they will call you auntie. So
Oh my
it feels like
gosh.
everyone's family.
Oh my gosh. So you found home.
Home for now. I don't
Home
know if
for
this is home
now.
forever. Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Any place that you have not been to that you still want to travel to?
On the planet? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
on the
yes, of
planet.
course.
Where? I'm always so
And
curious.
I say on the planet because my husband and I were talking about, wow, I think people are going to go to Mars soon, which will be crazy.
Oh yeah.
Um, I would like to see more of like the Eastern European countries. I've never been to that part of the world, and that's part of my ancestry. My mother's family was Russian. I'd love to see that part of the world.
You are so dynamic. Thank you. I think everybody can learn something from you. And my hope is that they will take this with them and find some peace because I am struggling so much just as a therapist on how to help people navigate the times in our country, going through it at the same time. And
Mm.
sometimes we do need to put our blinders on and not to ignorance, but for preservation, right? And so, thank you for showing up with such concrete tools. And this is just a taste in a 30-minute conversation for people to do their own research and find you. And I'll link everything in the show notes of how people can learn more about your work and learn about their self through you. So I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much. It's been a joy. And if I could just leave everyone with, because of what you said, I do want to recognize that the times that we're living in are crazy. And
Mhm.
if you can spend the first minute and a half of each day in meditation and or connecting to something larger than you, if that resonates in your heart, then you can hear your own inner voice and let the outer voices come in fast and furious as they want to after you've had your own time to hear what it is that you want to create.
So
So
that's a
that can
call to
guide your day.
action. That is an
Yeah.
active call to action for people today to do that rather than I was guilty of it this morning. I rolled over and grabbed my phone before I even opened my eyes to look at what was on deck for today. Like I can't start. I, and I say that because I'm human, right? Like I try to practice what I preach and what we're talking about. And sometimes my own anxiety gets the best of me. And that just adds to the problem. So take a minute and a half. We all have that.
Yes.
For everybody listening, just a gentle reminder to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Let that start with you, in your family, in your community, or in the world. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great one.